I'm just trying to think.
The witch's altar?
Yeah, and I said the body of Christ, and it's not. I mean, obviously that...
Oh, that was in the first episode.
Yeah. That was all to do with Mother Nature. So just wanted to evoke that comment.
You are forgiven, my daughter.
Thank
Say
you very
3 Hail
much.
Marys.
Revoke it.
Revoke, that would be even better, yes. I thought evoke, yeah. And I'll just blame it on the alcohol at the time.
It's a very dangerous
At
thing.
the same timing, I would guess, yes.
So thank you, folks.
I have. You sent me a couple of links during this week about people's having out-of-body experiences, and I must admit, it must be incredibly difficult for somebody to say, I've had an out-of-body experience. B, that I went and then found my children or my offspring or my aunties and uncles and said, hey, guess what?
Oh, yeah.
And for that to take place and then for people to accept that it is true.
Absolutely.
Is remarkable.
Well, one of the people that you're referring to is Jenny Cockle, who's going to be a guest of ours in December.
Oh, good.
Yes, she's a lovely lady, and that's actually that was her story. She, it's more to do with reincarnation because she lived a life in Ireland where she had several children and died very tragically and alone, and she fretted when she had gone into spirit, leaving all those beautiful children behind because she worried.
This is in Dublin, wasn't it? Is it Dublin?
Yeah.
Yep.
And she came back 21 years later. She was born again, and she remembered her life, her past life. And she embarked on finding those children from her past life. And as you were saying, Brodie, to convince them, initially, you can't just go knocking on someone's door and saying, hi, I was your mom in a past life.
Why not?
Well,
better than saying I'm an Avon lady. Hello, got some lipsticks. Oh, by the way, we're related.
That's it.
I'm your mother.
It took a lot of convincing, and as you can imagine, she had to provide untold amount of evidence. And they, one by one, all sort of came on board, and they've accepted her. And it's just an insanely remarkable story. And she's going to be a guest on the show, so she'll have plenty to tell us.
So, does she say in that she chose to come back, or did she just suddenly find that she was back?
I think that this is where things like even like what Russell was talking about, the sense of love, the deep unconditional love that she had for those children, and the worry and the remorse that she had left this world at an untimely moment in her life when she'd left them behind, and some of them were very, very young. She felt that guilt, and I think it was that guilt that just literally brought her almost straight back. And when you listen to her speak, she actually remembers being in spirit. And just that wanting of, I don't want to be in spirit, I want to be back there with my kids, and I want to protect them and be with them, because she was a single mother.
Was it guilt or love, or both, do you reckon?
Well, yeah, probably a combination. Because when you are a single parent, and all those single parents out there, they can totally relate to this, is you are that one person in the lives of your children, and you're there, you're your mother, your father, you're everything to them. And to suddenly step back and not be there anymore, and they're just left alone. Imagine. Absolutely powerful emotion that propelled her back into this world, and she remembered everything. It's an amazing story. Truly, truly amazing.
Look forward to it.
What's happening in your next episode?
Well, next week we have got a quick look here. Our question next week is, here we go, one for me. Where did astrology begin?
Wow, that's going to be a biggie.
It's going to be very interesting.
Are we interviewing anyone next week?
No, we've got our next interview coming up will be with Jenny. That's in a few weeks' time, so we'll let our viewers know, and we'll give them a little bit of a warning and let them know. But anyway, that's it for our 4th episode. You can subscribe to the Numinous Factor podcast on Spotify and YouTube. You can email us at the Numinous Factor at hotmail.com. If you have any questions, you can message us on Facebook, The Numinous Factor. You can also like and follow us. Please send us your questions, your stories. You can even provide us with your suggestions of topics you'd love for us to discuss. Until next week, the quote of the day is...
Until you're happy with who you are, you will never be happy with what you have.
Yay. Until next week, that's episode 5. Yay!
Yay!
A Peninsula Podcast production.